I just tried making this video like 7 times and I keep changing my mind on stuff. So Khabib is retired. The lightweight division is a mess. And Dana White watches all of these videos, so what I have to say is very important. He'll probably just choose whatever I have to say. But we're going to try to figure out the lightweight division. We're going to try to figure out who deserves to fight for the belt next. I'm going to look at the rankings and talk about each fighter and say whether or not they're worthy or not. And then I'm going to pick, ultimately, who I think should fight for the title. Let's get into it. I'm going to figure out my thoughts on this as we go on. In the number 1 spot is Justin Gaethje, who was just the interim champion. He just fought for the belt against Khabib, and he lost. It doesn't make sense for him to lose a title fight and go right back into a title fight, especially considering it's not an immediate rematch against the same opponent. So I'm taking him out of the question. Unfortunately, it's hard because Justin Gaethje totally deserves it, but he just needs a win, and then he'll be right back in the conversation. And that kind of reminds me of this next guy, Dustin Poirier, who did fight for the title against Khabib and lost. He did go out and get a win, though. He got a win against Dan Hooker. He's a really, really good opponent. So I think Dustin Poirier is worthy of, fighting for the title. Next, we have the boogeyman, Tony Ferguson. This is really tough because you want to say go out and get another win, and I've been saying that for the other 2 fighters. But Tony Ferguson was an interim champion who was stripped for no reason other than the fact that he got injured. He didn't lose the belt. He just got it taken from him. And then he took a fight on short notice against a nightmare in Justin Gaethje, and he lost. He didn't get to fight Khabib. He never fought for the real belts, and he's kind of deserving. It's almost like a thing where it's like, we've screwed you over so many times, Tony. Here is your opportunity to win a belt. So I think Tony's deserving. It's tough putting Tony above Gaethje because Gaethje just beat Tony, but I'm doing it. It's my opinion. Whatever. Next, the number 4 in the rankings is Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor doesn't play by the rules. He is just money for the UFC. He is money bags, okay? So McGregor is going to be in this conversation. He does have, he's coming off of a win against Donald Cerrone. It was at 170, so it wasn't a 155 fight, but he's definitely in the question, and he was supposed to fight Dustin Poirier. I don't know if that fight's official, but if that ends up happening, don't be surprised if they just make that for the belt. In the number 5 spot, you have Dan Hooker. He's coming off of a loss to Dustin Poirier, so it doesn't make sense to put him in there. Number 6, you have Charles Oliveira, who's totally deserving after his huge win streak, and he just had a win against Kevin Lee in early 2020. So he's totally deserving, but he won't be in the picture just because he's number 6 in the rankings, and he's not as big of a name as these other guys. So unfortunately, he will be forgotten. Also, we have Michael Chandler. By the way, I don't see anyone 7 through 15 getting the shot over these guys, so I'm not even going to talk about them. Next, we have Michael Chandler, Bellator guy, former champion at Bellator. He's going to be in the question. I don't know if he gets an immediate title shot. I know Chris Cyborg did when she went to Bellator, but it isn't like that. UFC is a larger promotion. It's a more skilled promotion. Sorry, Bellator people. But I don't see him. There's a chance. There's a chance, there's storylines there. You can put him up against Conor McGregor and have that grudge match. They would definitely be spitting trash talk back and forth. So right now, I guess I'll throw him into the conversation. Right now we got Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor, and I would put Charles Oliveira, but I'm going to put Michael Chandler in there instead because this is what I think is going to happen. Personally, I would take those 4 guys or replace Chandler with Oliveira and do a tournament or something. But I ultimately think it's just going to be Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor fighting for the title. I really think Tony Ferguson shouldn't be overlooked here. Tony Ferguson, despite coming off a loss, had the crazy 12 or 13 fight win streak. And it's just how can you... Tony Ferguson's been screwed over so many times. It's just so tough. So what I think is going to happen is Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor. What I think should happen is do Poirier versus McGregor, Ferguson versus Chandler, and do a tournament from there. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. I'm not even 100% about him. There's so many ways you can go here. It's kind of tough. It's also really hard to leave Justin Gaethje out of the question too, just because he, was on a crazy run and been knocking everyone out, and then he loses to Khabib, and he's just out of the question. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.